Today, we're diving into a story with two very different and very challenging sides. On one hand, you've got the immense financial pressure that millions of people in India are under, and on the other hand, you've got the incredible, almost impossible difficulty of trying to build something that actually helps.
All right, let's just kick things off with a number that honestly should stop you in your tracks. 75%. That's how many Indians don't have an emergency fund. Think about that. For 3 out of every 4 people, if their income suddenly stopped, they could start defaulting on their payments almost immediately.
And look, this isn't just some random one-off statistic. It's a massive red flag. It points to a massive, widespread vulnerability that has a huge chunk of the entire country walking on a financial tightrope every single day.
Let that sink in for a second. 1 single month. That is the razor-thin margin separating everyday life from a full-blown crisis for a quarter of the population. We are talking about a breathtaking level of financial fragility day in and day out. So you might be thinking, okay, this is a savings problem, but it actually goes way deeper. This is an information problem. A score that low tells you there's a huge gap in financial literacy, which makes it even harder for people to find a way out of the hole they're in.
So to really get our heads around this, we need to break it down. You can think of all of these different issues as slices of one giant, let's call it a problem pie. Each slice represents a totally different kind of financial pain.
Now, here's that pie, and what's fascinating here is what jumps out at you. Look at the 2 biggest slices by far, a lack of savings and high debt. Together, they make up more than half of the entire problem. It's this vicious cycle, right? You're in debt, so you can't save, but because you have no savings, any little emergency pushes you deeper into debt. All the other stuff, investing, insurance, retirement, it all just kind of orbits this massive central crisis. And you can see just how tangled up all these problems are. I mean, a staggering 82% don't have enough life insurance. 68% haven't even started planning for retirement. When you're part of the 27% actively struggling with debt right now, thinking about the future feels like a luxury you just can't afford. Long-term security gets sacrificed for short-term survival. So, yeah, after all of that, we have a very, very clear and pretty stark picture of the challenges people are up against.
But, and this is a big but, knowing the problem is one thing. Actually building a solution, well, that is a whole different ballgame.
To really see what I mean, let's switch gears and go inside the mind of a startup. This company, Ryyt, is trying to tackle this whole mess head-on. They see the pain in the market perfectly. The problem is, they're having a massive identity crisis of their own. And this is it. This is the first and maybe the biggest hurdle they have to clear. Why should anyone use us? You've already got Twitter, you've got Reddit, you've got Telegram for your groups. Why on earth would you download yet another app?
I mean, the competition is just massive. These giants are already there. You want big, anonymous communities? You go to Reddit. You want real-time hot takes from experts? You're on Twitter. You want private, focus groups? You're already in Telegram. Trying to wedge yourself into that market is, well, it's a nightmare.
So what happens is you get this strategic tug of war inside the company. Do we become the experts-first platform, all about verified, trustworthy Q&A, or maybe the content-first platform, with really engaging, snackable content? Or, hey, what about a tool-first approach, with cool AI features and utilities? The danger is, if you try to be all 3, you end up being great at none of them. Your whole vision just gets watered down.
And then, layered on top of all of that, you have what is maybe the final boss of all challenges for a financial platform: building trust when you're starting from absolute zero. This creates that classic, incredibly frustrating paradox. It's really simple, right? Part 1 of the problem is this. If you don't have credible, verified experts on your app, why would any sane user trust the advice they're getting? It just makes sense. But here's the other side of that coin. Why would any respected expert waste their valuable time creating content for a platform that has no audience? Who are they even talking to? And there it is, the ultimate chicken and egg problem. This all leads to what we can call the trust gap. And you have to understand, in the world of finance, trust isn't just some nice feature you can add later. It's the entire foundation of your product. If you don't have a rock-solid plan for verification and moderation from day one, your community can turn into a swamp of scams and terrible advice overnight.
And this is where it all comes together. It's one thing to have a great idea, to see a clear and desperate need in the market.
It's a completely different challenge to bridge the gap between that vision and the messy, practical reality of actually building it.
For a startup like this, the obstacles on the inside are just as big as the ones on the outside. Their prototype is kind of a generic clone with nothing unique. They don't have an in-house team of engineers to actually build their vision. And the founders themselves have some pretty big gaps in the exact skills they need to pull this off. So even with a perfect understanding of the problem, the path forward is anything but clear. Which leaves us with this one final, really powerful question. We see the incredible scale of this financial crisis, and we see the immense, complicated struggle to create a meaningful solution. It really makes you wonder, when a problem is this big, this complex, and this deeply human, where do you even start?